Lost without a trace, the Anasazi civilization explained. The Anasazi civilization, often known as the ancient Puebloans, is one of the most intriguing and mysterious cultures in the history of North America. They left behind remarkable structures, intricate artwork, and traces of a highly advanced society. Yet, they vanished, seemingly without a trace, leaving archaeologists, historians, and explorers alike wondering what happened to them. How could a society so advanced in agriculture, architecture, and astronomy simply disappear? In this exploration, we'll uncover the fascinating story of the Anasazi, the clues they left behind, and the many theories surrounding their disappearance. Join us as we journey back in time to discover the mysteries of this once thriving civilization. The rise of the Anasazi civilization. The Anasazi civilization flourished in the American Southwest, particularly in what is now the Four Corners region of the United States, where the borders of Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, and Utah meet. The Anasazi's peak period stretched from approximately 100 to 1600 AD, during which time they developed advanced agricultural techniques, built elaborate multi-story stone dwellings, and created stunning pottery and artwork. Their name, Anasazi, is derived from the Navajo language, meaning ancient enemies or ancient ones. However, the term ancient Puebloans is more fitting, as it refers to their distinctive style of living, primarily in pueblos, which were communal, multi-story structures built into cliffs or on the ground. These pueblos demonstrate an advanced understanding of engineering and architectural design, showcasing the Anasazi's ability to adapt to the rugged, arid environment in which they lived. Architecture and ingenious structures. The most famous of the Anasazi's architectural achievements are their cliff dwellings, particularly at places like Mesa Verde and Cliff Palace. These cliffside homes were carved into natural rock faces, providing the residents with protection from the elements and enemies. With stone and mortar, the Anasazi built grand, sophisticated structures that included several stories, multiple rooms, and large communal spaces. These homes were not only functional but also beautifully designed, with careful attention to detail. In addition to cliff dwellings, the Anasazi also built kivas, circular, subterranean rooms used for ceremonial purposes. Kivas were often found in the center of the villages and were considered sacred spaces. The Anasazi's architectural prowess extended beyond their dwellings. They also constructed large irrigation systems to harness and conserve water, allowing them to thrive in the desert and sustain their crops. The Anasazi's social and spiritual life. The Anasazi were skilled farmers, cultivating crops such as corn, beans, and squash, foods that were essential to their diet. They also grew cotton and even domesticated turkeys for their feathers and meat. The Anasazi's deep connection with the land was evident in their farming techniques, which included creating terraced fields and utilizing natural resources like the Chaco Canyon to support their agricultural endeavors. Their social and spiritual life was intricately tied to the land, as evidenced by their rich collection of artwork and ceremonial practices. The Anasazi were known for their intricate pottery, painted with geometric designs, animals, and human figures. These pieces were not merely decorative, they held spiritual significance and were used in religious ceremonies. The petroglyphs, or rock carvings, scattered throughout the Southwest, offer a glimpse into their worldview, connecting their daily lives to the celestial and natural forces they revered. The Anasazi's spiritual life also centered around the cosmos. They were avid astronomers, aligning their structures with celestial events like solstices and lunar cycles. The Great Kiva in Chaco Canyon, for instance, was precisely aligned with the sun's position during the summer solstice, reflecting the Anasazi's advanced understanding of time and the universe. The mysterious disappearance of the Anasazi. Despite their remarkable achievements and apparent prosperity, the Anasazi civilization began to decline around 1300 AD. Entire communities were abandoned, and the once thriving pueblos were left empty, some with signs of violence, others seemingly untouched. The question that has puzzled historians and archaeologists for centuries is, what caused their sudden disappearance? There are several theories, each offering a potential explanation for the fall of the Anasazi. One widely accepted theory points to climate change. The region experienced a prolonged period of drought around the time the Anasazi began to abandon their homes. The lack of water would have severely impacted their agricultural systems, which relied heavily on consistent rainfall for crops like corn and beans. The Chaco Canyon, once a bustling hub of commerce and culture, also showed evidence of decline during this period, suggesting that the drought may have made it impossible for the Anasazi to sustain their way of life. Another theory centers around resource depletion. The Anasazi's agricultural practices, while advanced, were not without their costs. Over time, deforestation and soil erosion may have reduced their ability to grow crops, leading to food shortages and societal stress. As the environment became more inhospitable, people may have been forced to move to other areas in search of more fertile land. The possibility of internal conflict also cannot be ignored. With increasing pressure on resources and a changing climate, tensions may have risen within and between Anasazi communities, leading to violence and further fragmentation of their society. There is evidence of defensive structures and weaponry in some of the abandoned pueblos, suggesting that conflict may have played a role in the Anasazi's disappearance. The legacy of the Anasazi, while the exact reasons for the Anasazi's disappearance remain a mystery, their legacy lives on in the ruins they left behind and in the cultures of their descendants. Today, the modern Pueblo people, including the Hopi, Zuni, and Taos, trace their ancestry to the Anasazi and continue to honor the traditions and teachings of their ancestors. Archaeologists and historians continue to study the Anasazi's achievements, using modern technology to uncover more about their way of life and the reasons for their decline. The Anasazi's influence can also be seen in the ongoing preservation of their remarkable sites, such as Mesa Verde National Park and Chaco Canyon, which offer a glimpse into their past and provide valuable lessons for future generations.
The mystery of the Anasazi's disappearance. Theories and hypotheses. The mystery of the Anasazi's disappearance continues to captivate historians, archaeologists, and scientists. Beyond the common theories of climate change, resource depletion, and internal conflict, there are several additional ideas and hypotheses that have been proposed to explain the fall of this once great civilization. 1. Migration theories. Some scholars argue that the Anasazi did not vanish but instead migrated to other regions, seeking new opportunities or escaping harsh environmental conditions. The evidence of mass abandonment in the late 1200s might suggest that they simply moved away from the areas that were no longer viable. This theory is supported by the fact that many modern Pueblo tribes in New Mexico, Arizona, and Colorado claim ancestral connections to the Anasazi. The Hopi people, for instance, are believed by many to be the descendants of the Anasazi, and they maintain oral traditions about migrations and the search for new homes. According to these stories, the Anasazi ancestors moved to the high plateaus of the Mesa Verde area, where they sought refuge from a hostile environment and their internal conflicts. Some also speculate that the Anasazi moved southward into Mexico, merging with other Mesoamerican cultures. 2. Cultural and social collapse. Another perspective suggests that the Anasazi's downfall was not just caused by external environmental factors, but by cultural and social collapse. As the population grew, the strain on resources may have led to deeper divisions in society. The Anasazi, once a cooperative and communal society, might have fractured into smaller factions, each fighting for access to the land, water, and food necessary for survival. The growing evidence of violence and conflict in the archaeological record also supports this hypothesis. Archaeologists have discovered signs of cannibalism and skeletal remains showing trauma, suggesting that internal strife could have played a pivotal role in the fall of the Anasazi. The abandonment of sacred sites and defensive structures further suggests that the Anasazi were not only facing environmental challenges, but also struggling with social instability. 3. Influence of external forces. While the Anasazi were a powerful culture in their own right, they were not isolated. They had contact with neighboring cultures, including the Hohokam and the Mogollon, as well as distant cultures in Mesoamerica. Some theories suggest that external forces, such as trade disruptions or cultural pressure, may have contributed to the Anasazi's decline. It is also possible that the rise of more powerful neighboring groups, such as the Aztecs, led to increased competition for resources. The Chaco Canyon, a vital trade and cultural center for the Anasazi, eventually lost its status and significance as other cultures began to gain influence and control over trade routes. Anasazi art and culture. the legacy they left behind while the Anasazi's sudden disappearance remains an enigma. Their cultural and artistic legacy has endured through the centuries. The intricate pottery, rock art, and architectural designs left behind provide us with invaluable insights into their lives, beliefs, and customs. These artistic expressions were not merely aesthetic. They were deeply symbolic, reflecting the spiritual connection the Anasazi had with the land, the cosmos, and their ancestors. The petroglyphs, rock carvings, and pictographs, paintings, found throughout the Southwest, especially in places like Canyon de Chelly and Monument Valley, reveal the Anasazi's close relationship with nature. Their geometric patterns, spirals, and figures of animals may represent spiritual or ceremonial practices tied to their beliefs about the natural world and celestial events. The Anasazi were keen astronomers, and many of their structures align with the sun, moon, and stars, reflecting their understanding of time and the cosmos. Perhaps most notable of all is the cliff dwellings and kivas, ceremonial spaces, which symbolize the Anasazi's ability to integrate their spiritual life with their surroundings. These buildings, some perched high in the cliffs and others dug deep into the earth, were sacred spaces for worship, reflection, and community gathering. The Anasazi's architecture still inspires modern-day builders, and the fact that these structures have endured for centuries stands as a testament to their craftsmanship and ingenuity. Modern-day discoveries and ongoing research even today, the Anasazi continue to capture the imagination of explorers and researchers.